Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to week number 3 of the Heat this week. I am your host, Brandon Astle. On this week's show, we recap a very successful 7 days of hockey for the Heat. We have a special 2 highlight packs to roll. We will also get to know Heat forward Ben Street, and new defenseman Shane O'Brien takes a crack at rapid fire. All that and more to come right here on the Heat this week on SportzCast.TV. The Heat were a very busy group last week as a team finished off an 8-game homestand at the AESC. They played 4 games in a span of 6 days. And let's get right into the highlights. Tuesday night, February 4th, the first meeting of the season between the Heat and the Charlotte Checkers.
National anthem's over. Time to drop the puck on the first meeting of the year between the Abbotsford Heat and the Charlotte Checkers. Berchi to the right corner, takes it behind the goal, trying to one-hand it to O'Brien. It comes back to Berchi. Saucer pass, lock, head up to the slot, Juris shot, scores! Josh Juris has goals in 3 straight games. Pretty passing play from the Heat, and Corey Locke finds Josh Juris, who snaps it into the back of the net, and the rookie's heating up. And Jordan gets the puck, can't clear, a great hold by Billings. Now here's Knight wide open, backdoor to Reinhart, and he scores! Chad Billings with an unbelievable hold of the blue line, and it leads to a Reinhart goal. Great backdoor pass from Corbin Knight, and that's a power play marker, and Max Reinhart is on a 4-game point streak. Smith along the point, drops it off for Street, back to Smith. Looks, passes to Jones, one-timer, scores! Blair Jones in his sweet spot on the left wing, powers home a one-timer, and the Heat lead 3-0.
The assistant number 27, Derek Smith. And to number 9, Ben Street.
During the call, Carter Banks finds the puck and he scores! 4-0 Heat! Getting in on the action. Finds a rebound off Muse and puts it top corner. Juris to center for Derek Smith, who joins the rush. Smith on the right side, backhander save, rebound, Berchi, put it wide. Nice job by Smith to make that play happen. As we see the replay, Knight with speed takes it hard to the net and got tripped by Michael Jordan. And then ran into Mike Murphy, who's up on his feet. Has a man at center. It's Berchi who gets the pass. Berchi down the right wing with Juris. Winds and fires. Berchi shot gloved down by Mike Murphy. And he'll get the face-off with just 12 seconds to go. Billings behind his net with one last rush. Finds Marcus Granlund. He'll pick up speed. Granlund center ice pass off Reinhardt's skate. Comes back to Granlund for a chance and he scores! Marcus Granlund hits the 20-goal plateau, wrists it, blocker side on Murphy. It's a power play marker. To the blue line, Smith holds it in for Olsen. Back to Smith, quick snapshot, scores! Corbin Knight on the redirect. For the second time in 3 games, the Heat's offense has 6 goals. Biega gets it back on the left side. Takes it around the goal on his backhand. Witherspoon got his stick in there. Played out in front, and Cornet scores. Breaks a shutout for Waugh. Nice setup from Biega behind the goal. And it is Philippe Cornet getting the Checkers on the board. 7:17 to play. It is now a 6-1 game. And here come the Heat 2-on-1. Olsen and Street. Olsen has it on the left wing. Walks in, passes the Street, back to Olsen. Street again, and he scores! How about that? You take it. No, you take it. Okay, I'll shoot it. Ben Street's on the board. It's a 7-1 game. Quick passing between Olsen and Street. No one wanted to shoot. And finally, Street puts it in. A 7-1 win over the Charlotte Checkers. They're unbeaten.
A huge offensive outburst from the Heat, who a night later beat the Checkers again, but in a much closer game, 4-3. Going to take a quick break. On the other side, we will get to know Ben Street and his journey of becoming a professional hockey player. You're watching the Heat this week on SportzCast.TV. Welcome back to the show. Coquitlam native Ben Street is in his 4th professional season and is in his 2nd year with the Abbotsford Heat, and he's living quite the dream having the opportunity to play so close to home. Well, Ben, just tell the fans what age you decided you want to become a hockey player at.
I think I always wanted to be a hockey player, but it wasn't until, probably until I was getting some exposure to the junior teams and they seemed interested that I thought, okay, maybe I can make a career out of this.
You grew up playing minor hockey around here. Just tell us where that was.
Yeah, I started up until Adams. I was with Coquitlam Minor Hockey, and then after that I moved to the Burnaby Winter Club and played there right up until midget, and I did 1 year of midget back in Coquitlam.
Was there a particular tournament you won or participated in back in those days that you're most proud of?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple. I remember going to the Brick tournament when I was a novice. That was with the Pacific Vipers, I think we were called, and we won that tournament. And then later I was able to go to the Pee Wee Carnival twice, and we actually represented the Junior Canucks in Quebec. Yeah, the Junior Canucks were there for 2 years.
Talk about the type of hockey road you took to get here at this level.
After minor hockey, I played 2 years in Salmon Arm in the BC League, and then decided to go to the University of Wisconsin. I did 5 years there, and then went pretty much through a few different pro leagues to get to where I am now.
You chose the NCAA route instead of major junior. Why did you go that route?
I didn't want to give up my eligibility to go to college right away. I was drafted to Prince Albert in the Western League, and that was a long way from home, so I thought that playing a year at least in Salmon Arm would be a good stepping stone. And after that year I started to get some interest from college teams in the U.S., so I decided to go back to Salmon Arm and sort of see how that played out. And after a couple of visits I went and visited Wisconsin, and it just felt perfect, and that's where I decided to go.
You mentioned you did play at the University of Wisconsin for 5 years, and that's a place Coach Ward was an assistant at just before you got there, and understand he actually recruited you out of the BCHL.
Yeah, Wardo picked me up from the airport in Madison and then proceeded to just leave, left me hanging there. So I think he brought me into Abbotsford and Calgary maybe as a bit of repayment because I never got to work with him.
You started in the ECHL with the Wheeling Nailers in 2010, 2011. 2 years later, you made your NHL debut with the Calgary Flames. Looking back at your pro career, how has the experience been for you so far?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a huge learning experience. I thought after college, I'd kind of know everything I needed to know about being a pro, and it wasn't even close. I was really fortunate to have great coaches in Wheeling. I was with Wilkes-Barre and couldn't crack that lineup. It was a more veteran lineup, and after a couple injuries, I got my chance in the AHL, and it was a great coaching staff there as well, and they helped me grow, and had a good year and a half in Wilkes-Barre, and then decided to move on. Pittsburgh was pretty deep at my position at the time, so I knew I didn't have a great chance to move up there, so I decided to switch organizations, and that's why I gave Calgary a try.
What's been the biggest hurdle you've had to go through in your hockey career if you had to pick one?
I think with my senior year, when I was looking to sign after that year and go pro, I ended up blowing out my knee 4 games into the year, and had to redshirt that year, which basically means you don't lose your eligibility, but you can't play for that whole year. So I went back for a 5th season, but you kind of fall off the radar a little bit when it's your senior year and you don't play any games. So I kind of had to build myself back up, build my resume up after that. So that was definitely a hurdle.
Playing here professionally in Abbotsford, I guess it's got to be quite nice to play so close to home.
Yeah, it is. There's lots of friends that come to the games. My parents, I think, really enjoy it because they're able to come to just about every home game. And when we have days off, I'm able to whip into Coquitlam and have a home-cooked meal from Mom, so that's also really nice.
And finally, Ben, what would your advice to kids be who went undrafted just like you but still want to chase that pro dream?
Well, I think, if they want to use me as an example, that's great. I wasn't drafted. I didn't sign an entry-level contract coming out of college, and I just worked my way up. But I think my advice would be you can get better every single day, and no matter how good you are at age 14, 15, 16, you can always get better. You can always catch the guys that are supposedly ahead of you, and as long as you just put in the work and you're willing to get better.
This has been a Player Profile with
Ben Street.
Ben alongside Chad Billings are two players on the Heat that were selected to this year's AHL All-Star Classic. So a special congratulations to those two who have been in St. John's, Newfoundland this past week, taking part in the All-Star festivities. The transaction wire has been a lot quieter this week for the Heat. On Saturday, the Calgary Flames assigned Yanni Ordio and Chris Breen down to the Heat. The move comes to no surprise as the NHL is now at the Olympic break. In a related move with Ordio back in the fold, the Heat released goaltender Thomas Heemskirk from his professional tryout. The Chilliwack native did not see any game action, but did dress for 3 games last week, backing up Olivier Waugh. Time now to get to know Heat defenseman Shane O'Brien. Shane was assigned to the Heat in late January and has been a very solid addition to the Heat blue line. He, of course, is familiar to people in these parts as he was a member of the Vancouver Canucks for 2 seasons. Here he is in another installment of Rapid Fire. First question, Shane, what type of music do you listen to?
I like alternative and hip-hop.
Favorite hockey team growing up?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Who are some of your best friends in hockey right now?
I will go with Joffrey Lupul and Scotty Upshaw.
What's your next vacation destination?
Hawaii.
Why do you wear number 55?
Just growing up, I was watching the double hitters, and I remember Jovanovski always wore it in Vancouver, and I always just seemed to like 55.
What do you like to do the most away from the rink?
Probably go to a nice dinner and maybe enjoy a glass of wine here or there.
What's the worst nickname you've ever had?
I've had a few bad ones. I'll go with radio.
Favorite sport at the Winter Olympics other than hockey?
Short track speed skating.
Favorite athlete right now?
Wow, great question. I'll go with Tiger Woods, I guess.
Who's been the biggest prankster you've ever been around in your career?
Darcy Hordichuk.
What does your pregame meal consist of?
1 chicken breast with some whole wheat pasta.
First thing you bought with your first NHL paycheck?
Probably a round of drinks for the boys.
Can you name the 3 Kardashian sisters?
No.
Do you have any pets?
My parents have a dog, Finnegan.
Celebrity crush?
Megan Fox.
And last one for you, Shane. If you can go out to dinner with any 2 people in the world, past or present, who would they be?
Wow, great question. Probably Mickey Mantle and good question, JFK.
This has been Rapid Fire with
Shane O'Brien.
With the AHL at the All-Star break, let's take a look at the standings in the Western Conference. The Heat, well, they're in a very good spot. Top dogs in the Western Conference, 66 points at the 50-game mark. Behind them in second place is Grand Rapids at 64 points. And then you got the Toronto Marlies. They lead the North Division, so they hold down the number 3 spot with 60 points. Now you got the Texas Stars, who the Heat just got a visit from. They're nipping at the heels of Abbotsford, just 2 points back with 64 points. Chicago in 5th place with 59. Milwaukee in the 6th hole, 4 points back of the Wolves. And then you got Rockford in the 7th spot, 54 points on the year. And Rochester holding down the last playoff spot with 52 points. And with regards to the playoff race, well, it's still very much wide open. Only 7 points separate 6th and 11th place. So we should see a very close race as we come down the stretch. All right, time for one last break. When we return, we will have one last highlight pack on the show, and it was a very entertaining game between the Abbotsford Heat and the Texas Stars. Stay tuned. You're watching the Heat this week on Shaw TV. To close out the show, two of the top teams in the American Hockey League in the Abbotsford Heat and Texas Stars squared off at the AESC for the first time this season last Saturday night. And boy, did the game live up to the hype.
It's the Texas Stars in their road black uniforms, white numbers, white trim, moving from my broadcast right to left, and moving from my left to right as a home team. The Abbotsford Heat in their home whites. Play it in the Abbotsford zone. Here's a chance for Ritchie down the right wing. Ritchie with a shot, and he scores! He beats Olivier Waugh, blocker's side. Ritchie with a great shot, and the Stars open up the scoring. 9:38 to play. Stepped around Billin through center, and let it rip top corner. O'Brien to Street. McKenzie gets it back, but gave it away to Granlund, and then we have a penalty coming up. It's going against the Texas Stars. They have 6 players on the ice right now. No shots on the last power play for the Heat. We'll see if they can turn it around on their second opportunity. Street wins the face-off to Smith for a one-timer, and he scores! That was fast! A clean face-off win. Ben Street to Derek Smith. One-timer top shelf over the blocker side of Nilstorp. What a shot from Smith. And that just took 3 seconds into the power play. Here's Ritchie through center. Drop pass for Dowling. Ran into Juris. Stolen by Berchi. Here's Berchi the other way. Drop pass for Locke. Over to Juris, and he scores! Tick, tack, goal! Josh Juris. 2-1 Heat. Berchi and Locke extend their point streaks. They got points in 5 straight. And Juris has goals in 4 of his last 5, and he goes down on one knee, looking like Brett Hull. Morin drops it off to Fortuna, snap shot, and they score! Hit a stick in front, beats Olivier Waugh, and we're tied at 2. Fortunas down the right wing. Jones dumps it in deep, Berchi on the forecheck, Labrie behind the goal for Alexiak. He shot it off the back of Berchi, it's in front, and Nilstorp, alert play, able to fall on it. And now Berchi and Alexiak tie up with each other. Reinhardt's going to skate it in. Drop pass, gets it back. Reinhardt, backdoor feed, Juris! Oh, he was robbed by Nilstorp. Juris gets it back, knocked away. Puck still loose. Here's Lamb with a shot, saved by Nilstorp. He'd elect to shoot first. Knight against Nilstorp. Hands on their feet. Here's Knight picking up the puck at center. In the Texas zone. Head up, stick handles, Knight, Deeks, forehand, scores! There it is! Backhand, forehand! Here's Jeffrey at center. Takes it down the right side, walks in, Jeffrey, Deeks, and he scores! Here's Granlund, 3 for 4 this year, Deeks, and he can't score. Here's Mueller through center. In the Heat zone, down to his left. Mueller walks in, shoots, scores! Beat Waugh clean over the glove, and it's a 2-1 Texas lead. Here he comes, left-handed shot. Chad Billins towards his right, walks in, Deeks, and he's stopped by Nilstorp. Didn't bite on the fake, kicked out the right pad. Justin Dowling, 5 goals on the year, takes it in the Heat zone. Dowling, backhand, and he whiffed. He had Olivier Waugh down and out. 4th shooter for the Heat. Locke in the Star zone. Head up, Deeks, and he's stopped by Nilstorp. Deadly this season, 27 goals overall. Here he comes with speed. Sevier shoots, stopped by Waugh. Picks it up at center. Jones, slowly in the Texas zone. In, Deeks scores! 3 for 3! Jones. And here he goes. Waugh needs to stop him to keep the game alive. Morin slows, looks, Deeks, and he missed! Tried 5-hole, slid underneath the pad of Olivier Waugh. Had a goal in regulation. Here he is in the shootout. Juris towards his right. Walks in. Deeks, and he's stopped by Nilstorp. Picks it up at center. Plenty in the Abbotsford end. Stick handle shoots. Stopped by Waugh. Got it with the glove. Berchi picks it up. Walks in. Shoots. Scores! Beat him 5-hole. And the Heat have the lead. Ritchie picks it up. Needs to score to continue the shootout. Down towards his left, in shoots, stopped by Waugh! And the Heat are on a
A huge win for the Heat, who earned the extra point in the shootout. However, a night later, the Stars got some revenge and beat the Heat 7-2 to earn the weekend split. Well, that's it for this week's show. The Heat come out of the All-Star break and begin a 5-game road trip starting next Friday on Valentine's Day in Raleigh, North Carolina against the Charlotte Checkers. I'll be with the team calling all the action, so Lauren Rempel will fill in and host next week's show. As for now, you're up to date with the Abbotsford Heat. See you at the rink.